Hey everyone, Scott here, and today we're looking at a concordance to the American Book of Common Prayer, and specifically it's referring to the 1928 Book of Common Prayer, and that is a favorite of mine. It's one I use daily, and this was sent to me by Joe St. Benedictus, and he paid $1 for it at his Lub's, local used bookstore. And I did not know this existed, so this was really a nice surprise when it came in the package. It's published by the Church Hymnal Corporation in 1970. Got a preface where they explain how they came about doing it, what common words they omitted, things like that. We've got a programmer's preface, which I enjoyed. They talk about how they used a computer to generate this, which was kind of a novel thing at the time. They used a COBOL application on an IBM mainframe. That takes me right back to trade school. I did a little bit of mainframe programming, COBOL, other things on an IBM system. And these days I look at COBOL applications and rewrite them in modern languages. So I really enjoyed that. Introduction, and then we get into the actual concordance. And we see the actual concordance. It looks very much like the output from a piece of software in the 1970s or 80s. It is just in these very fixed columns using a monospaced font, and I love it. It's just very nostalgic for me. Not necessarily the best design, but not necessarily pretty, but I like it. It just, boy, does that take me back. Let's go ahead and look at an entry. I have one chosen that I like, and it is the word monster. Where is it? There it is. As it were a monster unto many, and it says to go to page 425, verse 19. And they mention in the beginning it's a bit approximate. It won't always get you to the exact right place, but pretty close, because there were variations in the printings of the BCP. Okay, here we are on page 425 of this 28 BCP, which takes us to Psalm 71. And the way this works is you have to count all the lines, whatever it is. They just include them all because there's not like a great way to identify things as you can in a Bible. It's not like everything has a verse number. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, which takes us to verse 6 of the Psalm. I am become as it were a monster unto many, but my sure trust is in thee. And that's how it works. Pretty simple. As an aside, this is an interesting verse, especially in the Coverdale Psalter, which is what we're looking at. Monster is a very different translation than we get from, say, for example, the King James. In the King James, and I'm trying to read it from another spot on my desk here, it says, I am a wonder unto many, but thou art my strong refuge, which is verse 7 in the King James 6 here. That word that underlies either monster or wonder, there's debate about whether it should be seen as a positive example or a negative example. The King James maybe leaves that a bit up to the reader. You could say a wonder could be positive. It could also be negative. It's interesting. Coverdale went with a very negative reading. You see variation in that in modern translations and commentaries as well. Tremper Longman, for example, in his Tyndale Old Testament commentary, he views it as a positive example. So does Robert Alter in his translation and in his notes. On the other hand, the New American Bible Revised Edition, the notes there suggest a negative reading, and so does the NET Bible, both in its translation and in the notes. Coming back to the Concordance, we see at the end, after the Concordance, we have a word frequency count, which gives us the various words that they collected information on and how often they show up. Of course, monster would just be the one. We see, afflictions 10 times, afraid 37. Anyways, this is, it's really neat. I like this, and I think it's something I will use on occasion. You know, nowadays, do you need concordances so much with all the technology and websites you can search? I'm sure you can get the full text of the prayer book online, but I love staying away from the technology and the computers and smartphones when I'm doing my Bible study and prayer time. So I think this will be quite handy, and it's a wonderful addition to my ever-growing common prayer library. So thank you, Joe. I hope everyone enjoyed seeing it. If you have anything you'd like to share, I invite you to do so in the comments below. If you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe if you'd like to see more of my videos, book reviews, Bible reviews, things of that nature. Please give me a like if you found this entertaining or helpful. I thank you for watching as always. God bless, and we'll see you for the next one.